MTZ. In the zone, city to city, state to state, worldwide. This is the In the Zone Network.
Hey, and welcome back to Girl Chat Sports. Bam, bam, bam. Episode 43. I'm kind of in a weird mood. I haven't had much sleep lately, so welcome. It's Melissa and Steph. We are here, and we got some. It's been a 2-week break, so we've kind of like relaxed a little bit. We had some time to kind of do our own little things for a little bit.
Did you miss us?
Exactly. Did you miss us? Did you miss us? I know I miss sports, and I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't get away from the TV for the NFL combines.
I did not see a single bit of it.
Well, you missed out on a lot of football-ish things. We've got a special, we'll segue to the special Arms of the NFL segment that'll be coming up later in the show. But in regards to the combines, first a huge shout out to University of Washington Husky, John Ross. He is now the new time record holder for the 40-yard dash with a 4.22. So basically, it's a 40-yard dash. You run as fast as you can. Every position has to do it. You get 2 chances to get your best time. John Ross did it in 4.22 seconds. So literally count to 4, and that's how fast he ran 40 yards.
We can't forget that Minnesota's cornerback, Jalen Myrick, also ran a 4.28. Close.
So the last record was held by Chris Johnson, who was a running back. So running backs are usually pretty fast, and so are wide receivers, which is what John Ross is. So Chris had it at 4.24. But what's crazy is some of the reaction from the fans, other athletes. I mean, Twitter blew up. They're calling him the new king of the 40. I think one of the analysts or announcers was like, "Hey man, just take my jet and fly back home. You don't need to be here anymore." Like, you basically just earned yourself a first round draft pick if you weren't already one, which I think he was anyway. He was like one of the top wide receivers he's going to get picked. But, I mean, this guy is great. And the fact that was so funny, too, is that all the guys were given Adidas. Adidas sponsored the event, so everybody was wearing Adidas. John Ross had Nikes on. And so basically what we're saying is that if someone broke the record, Adidas was buying them their own private island. And when John Ross was interviewed and they asked him, well, why didn't you wear the Adidas? You could have had your own island. He was like, well, I can't really swim too well. And I don't own a boat. And now he's officially sponsored and licensed by Nike. I think I would prefer Nike, to be honest. So.
Yeah, well, Nike's helped him set that record.
Exactly. So congrats to him. Also another Husky there, Buda Baker, safety. He ran a 4.46. So that's another really great time for them. And, there was just a lot. I mean, here's the deal. I think this is one of the best tight end classes they've seen in so long. The tight ends, I think, averaged a 4.7. These are guys that are like 6'5", 6'6", 270 pounds, and they're running 4.7 on a 40-yard. Like, I can't even run 40 yards in like 30 seconds. Okay, maybe not that bad, but geez. So, combines are great. They were from March 3rd to 6th of this past weekend. They were in Indianapolis. There was a couple other great ones. So, Leonard Fournette, the LSU, he's 240 pounds. He ran a 4.51, and he had probably the worst vertical for running back since 2000. So basically, Leonard Fournette can run, but he can't jump. So keep that in mind.
Speaking of jumping, UConn defensive back Obi Melanfawu, he jumped a 44-inch vertical and a 141-inch broad jump. The guy can jump.
Broad jump is like your long jump, and basically you're standing still on 2 feet, just jumping forward. That's ridiculous. I mean, anybody that I can't even jump at like my height, which is 5'10", so I can't even jump 5 feet. These guys are jumping 10 and 11 feet broad in front of them.
He's better suited for the NBA.
These guys are. Speaking of suited for the NBA, Myles Garrett, who's possibly the first pick of the draft, he ran a 4.46, which is great for his size. He's what did you say he was?
6'4", 227.
227, 6'4". So he's actually pretty lean. But he ran a 4.64. He did 33 reps in the bench press, which the bench press is 225. It basically is how many reps can you get in before you're done. But he had a 41-inch vertical. 41 inches. 41 inches, and then the 10-foot 8 broad jump.
Yeah.
But okay, so this guy jumped 3.5 feet. So that's like the size of a what? I don't know, an 10-year-old. I mean, just think of it that way. This man jumped high. I mean, a 6'4", 220. What is it? Yeah, unbelievable. I was amazed. My mouth was dropped during half of the combines. I mean, linebacker day is my favorite. I'm sure everybody here knows why, because linebackers have great arms.
Speaking of that, did you hear about the Alabama linebacker Reuben Foster got sent home from the combine before he could even perform?
Oh, my gosh.
Apparently got into a verbal altercation with the hospital staff, and they gave him the boot.
Okay, so you go to combine, and you can't even keep your lips sealed long enough to not flat back at somebody, and you get sent home.
But, you know, Nick Saban actually stood up for him and said, hey, if you're sitting around for hours and hours and you ask like 8 or 10 times, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? And nobody responds to you, you'd probably get bothered by it too.
I can understand that. So, congrats to all the guys that made it out for the combine. We didn't see any penises popping out during this year. Last year there was a little incident, and I noticed a lot more guys that were opting for the longer shorts, spandex shorts, or that, as well as the pants and the like baggier gym shorts. So that was nice. Although that was interesting last year as well.
Did you see J.J. Watt's little brother?
I did not.
Watts. He's cemented his status as a top 50 prospect.
Really?
6'5", 252. He ran a 6.39 40-yard dash and jumped 37 inches.
I would not mind being a part of the Watt family.
But he's always going to be J.J. Watt's little brother.
But, I mean, he might make his own name for him, though. That's the only thing. I mean, think about this. When Peyton and Eli came out, I'm sure Eli was always going to be Peyton's little brother, which he still kind of is. But Eli has the rings, too. I mean, maybe little Watt will make his own name. And I think there's one more still that they have. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure there was 3 Watts in the family. Either of which, they're tall, good-looking guys with big arms. So,
can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with the Watts. In other NFL news, free agency starts tomorrow, and we will talk a little bit later with our guest, Kris Londyn, who is a huge Cowboys fan, just like our girl Steph here. We'll talk a little bit about Romo news, because Romo is on his way out. Let's see who picks him up tomorrow. If it will be tomorrow, if it will be by Friday, who knows? But we all know that Romo is going to get released. Speaking of release, the Jets cleaned house this last week. They got rid of their center, Nick Mangold. After 11 seasons, they cut Darrelle Revis. Revis Island has not only faded away, but it's now sinking fast. 7-time Pro Bowler, because he has this whole robbery and assault charges still hanging over him. And then they also released Brandon Marshall, wide receiver, who was a 6-time Pro Bowler, but Brandon Marshall gets picked up today.
Man, they'll be a good addition to the Giants.
Yeah, picked up, and now Eli has a nice tall target. I'm sure Eli is at home thanking the football gods for that. Hopefully Brandon Marshall can hold on to a couple passes for him and make some things happen. Other news today, the 49ers are making some moves. You know, new general manager, new coaching staff. They signed Brian Hoyer to a 2-year deal. So we all know that Colin's going to be opting out of his contract. He becomes a free agent tomorrow. He also is going to stand for the national anthem next year.
I heard.
But they also signed Marquise Goodwin from the Bills, wide receiver. So they're coming back with a quarterback, wide receiver. They've got some definite moves to make in the draft due to their shitty-ass season last year. So they've got moves to make, and I'm interested to see how it turns out.
Promising.
Well, hopefully not too promising. They are in my division. But it would be nice to have competition again, because having them just suck so bad is just never that great. I mean, it's never that fun.
Where do you think Adrian Peterson's going to go?
Seahawks!
I've heard them talk about Oakland just as much as the Seahawks. And they even said he's willing to take a major pay cut to go to the Patriots because he would like to retire with a ring. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I don't know if the Patriots will make it to another ring next year. I mean, of course, they always will get up close, but they don't win a lot of back-to-back. I mean, they've won the one, I think. So their five rings aren't back-to-back. The one, maybe, I don't know. I want him to go to Seattle. I love our Thomas Rawls. I love C.J. Preuss. I think it would be great to have a veteran there, someone that had power like Marshawn that can teach these guys and lead these guys. And even if they're all, taking turns on downs, having that person there I think would be helpful. I would love, have I mentioned it before?
A little bit.
Adrian Peterson is one of my football crushes, I think. I really do. And he's closer to my age than everybody else in the league, so I can't go robbing cradles, you know what I mean? In other Seahawk news, Earl Thomas is coming back. He's not going to retire. I knew he wasn't. He's hungry. He wants to come back, and he wants to get back on that horse and ride out. So congrats to Earl Thomas on speedy recovery for this year, as well as Tyler Lockett. You guys are both coming back from broken leg, foot injuries. So we want you back healthy and ready to go. No more injuries 2017, guys. That's what I'm hoping for. So that's what I want. Other NFL news. Let's see. Oh, Julius Peppers, who is almost my age, 37, plans to return next year for his 16th season. That's a lot of pounding. I mean, he's taken Julius Peppers is a great athlete. He's taken some hard hits. He still maintains. I mean, he has some great arms himself. This man is a beast. But coming back for 16 years, I mean, hey, I can't knock that. I can't knock that. So, and then also the Steelers, they're going to franchise tag Le'Veon Bell. Antonio Brown also agreed to a 5-year deal, making him the highest paid wide receiver with the prettiest teeth. And they re-signed James Harrison to a 2-year, $3.5 million deal. If he goes the full 2 years, he will be 40 years old. Talk about beasts. I mean, Julius Peppers, yes. James Harrison, this man is a monster. Monster. So that should be interesting. I can't knock the Steelers. I hate them for a certain Super Bowl that happened. But James Harrison's a beast. So congratulations to all those guys.
Oh, you know what? Actually, there's some good news that the NFL may be allowing people to celebrate more.
Oh,
They're going to be talking about doing less harsh guidelines because they're trying to get desperately ways of engaging to the younger
Well,
audience.
yeah, and it's nicer to be able to watch someone's. I mean, if you're doing something, if you score a great touchdown or if you have a great play, you should be able to celebrate at something. Maybe not taunting, maybe not sticking it in someone's face, but being able to celebrate, that's one thing. That's great. So that should be interesting. The salary cap also gets increased 7.5% from last year, so now it's at $167 million. So there's a little extra room for these teams to wiggle with. And guess what? We've got some Vegas Raiders news.
Yeah, it's on.
It is on and cracking. Bank of America has joined in with the Las Vegas committee to basically put up the $650 million that Mr. Adelson, the Trump supporter, had bailed on. So thank you to BOA, even though you have some crappy guidelines sometimes in your banking priorities and fees. We appreciate you, and let's make this happen because I want football in Vegas.
So what you're saying is all my Bank of America fees are funding the stadium.
Basically. So all your extra $10 withdrawal fees or no this or no that's or yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks, staff. Thank you for all those fees that you pay to BOA. We might have a stadium. So the official vote for the NFL owners isn't until the end of the month, but
I think it's going to happen.
It sounds like it's pretty much going to happen. I mean, the NFL committee is poised to recommend the Raiders to the Vegas move to the full ownership meeting later this month. So we are just sitting and waiting, fingers crossed, emoji finger crosses, and we'll see how that goes. I just love talking about football. I wish it could happen all year round. Why can't it happen all year round? Anyways, so in other news, there's a little thing called March Madness. Who knows? Just a little thing. I mean, in Vegas, no one comes to Vegas for March Madness. Yeah, right. Every plane out to Vegas right now is booked with either spring breakers in college or guys that want to get away from their wives and come out here for a man's weekend to watch football in a casino smoking cigars.
And pool season is officially open as of last weekend.
Boop! Hello, Dre's. So yes, I will be by a pool this weekend, I hope, because it's going to be about 80 degrees at some point this weekend.
Finally.
I need a pool. Finally! And for everybody in Michigan or Seattle or New York or anywhere else that's cold right now, we apologize. Not really. So that should be interesting. So, of course, March Madness is coming. Selection Sunday is the 12th. So basically on Sunday, there's a live broadcast of them picking the teams, picking in which order they're going, ranked. There's 68 teams to get chosen. There's the first four, which is the 14th through 15th. They have four teams that are played for those first four. For the first four. Then there's the other 64 in the bracket. Those games go from the 16th all the way to the championship, which is on April 3rd. I believe it's in Phoenix this year, too. Phoenix is getting a lot of love with these national championship games. But the first round will start this weekend. The first round will start next weekend. Right now, it's all about the conference championships. The Pac-12 championship is happening right now in Vegas. We got NASCAR in Vegas this weekend. Spring break is in. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's busy.
It's busy, and just stay off the strip if you can, unless you're going to a pool. Basically, that's what it is. So, bracketology, we've got the number one. I mean, we've got Kansas, Villanova, UCLA, Gonzaga, and Oregon. 2 Pac-12 teams are in the top 5 right now, which is awesome. Because my Pac-12 guys, Huskies, not so awesome.
You can't forget North Carolina squeezing in at number 5.
Yeah, UNC, baby. So we're excited for that. There's the Pac-12 tournament, like I said, here at the T-Mobile Arena. We also have the Mountain West Championships for women that's out here as well. I actually had the decision today, and if you follow GirlChatSports on Snapchat or Instagram, you'll find out later where I go. I had the option to go to the Huskies basketball game tonight against USC, or to the UNLV girls game tonight at Thomas & Mack. So stay tuned to see what I chose, either my alumni or the girls. You know I love my Gonzalez girls too, so we'll see how that goes. For women, we still got UConn, undefeated, Baylor, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Maryland. Oh, and a huge shout out to our Husky, Kelsey Plum. While we were gone on our 2-week break, she became the all-time leading scorer in women's hoops.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's amazing. It's an amazing feat. So congratulations to her.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? UConn's women basketball, Katie Lou Samuelson, she had 10 3-pointers that broke the NCAA record for the most consecutive triples made without a miss.
So in honor of International Women's Day, shout out to you guys.
Go girls.
Go women. Women make the world go round. Hey. It's also spring baseball. So we've got that's been happening in Florida and Phoenix. Tim Tebow made his spring training debut for the Mets today. He went 0 for 3. With 2 strikeouts. Seems to be that his baseball career is turning out to be like his football career. Sorry, Tim Tebow, you may just want to stick to maybe college football analysis. So, other than that, Alex Rodriguez is going to be taking up the studio and will serve as a game analysis and feature reporter for Fox Sports. So, of course, Alex wasn't going to stay too far from the baseball diamond. Dodgers... We had him as a Buns of baseball last year. I remember this because I remember his buns. Yasiel Puig. You're the Dodger fan. I'm not. Puig had his home robbed of $500,000 of jewelry.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Oh, I heard the same thing happened to Mike Tyson.
Really?
No, not Mike Tyson.
I was like, he still has that much money in
No.
jewelry?
The money team. When he was in California, last weekend or something, celebrating his birthday, somebody robbed him.
Wow. Uh-oh. Well, of course, he'll get that money back when he fights Connor, so we'll see how that goes, if and when that happens. On to a little NBA news. Let's see. Russell Westbrook. Man, this guy... 30th triple-double. This was last week. He actually has more triple-doubles this season than Michael Jordan had in his entire career.
He's averaging 37.2 points per game since the All-Star break. Only 2 NBA players averaged at least 37 points per game after break, and that was Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan.
And it's ridiculous. And he scores 58 points last night, right? And they still lose. Like, I feel bad for him. I don't know if it's But dang, that was his career high, 58 points, and they still lose.
That was a tough loss last night.
The Warriors, though, I mean, these guys, they already clinched the playoffs again for 2017.
Spurs are still giving them a run for their money.
As they will, because the Spurs have always been a great team. However, we'll talk later because, again, our guest is also a Warriors fan, but Kevin Durant's out indefinitely right now to a grade 2 MCL sprain. They're going to reevaluate it, but he could be back for playoffs, may not be. That's something that's going to be interesting, that they signed Matt Barnes to play with them, I think on the end of February. So that's been going on. They had back-to-back losses for the first time since April 2015 against the Bulls. But Steph has been great. I mean, Steph, he's been on fire.
Actually, he passed Chauncey Billups for the 10th all-time three-pointer made list, 1,833, which probably changed. No, they didn't play last night, so yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. It's a great organization. So we'll still see how it happens for them. The Jeannie Buss is still in the news. Sounds like her and her brothers aren't getting along too well after she got rid of some of the family leadership with the Lakers. So that should be interesting. They were trying to hold a meeting against her and trying to push her out, and she basically stopped that real quick. So
the Cavaliers picked up Andrew Bogut, and he didn't even make it through 1 minute of his debut. And fractured his left tibia.
Wow, out for the rest of the season and the playoffs. So that was a good pickup.
Speaking of injuries, Ben Simmons hasn't returned to normal training following his
really?
Yeah, his surgery. They gave him some bone marrow, injected it into his foot to stimulate bone growth and healing. So he is undetermined.
So moral of the story is watch who you pick first in the draft.
That seems to happen a lot.
Yeah, because if it's not their first year, it's usually 3 years later they're done and their career is over with. So be careful. Anyways, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with our guest, Kris Londyn.
Yo, what's good with it? It's Mr. Mike T, owner and founder of Naked Athletics Fitness Co. You say naked, I say why not? We going for muscle tone, muscle gains, diet plans, nutrition plans, any and everything to get you where you want to go physically and mentally. You can look us up at nakedathleticfitness.com, or you can reach me personally at 929-8791, or you can follow me, and that's on IG at Naked Athletics with an X, not a C, _ fitness team, or even Facebook at MZSTAMYK, and that's Mr. Mike. So contact me today so we can get you going. And remember, nobody stops you but you. And once again, that's 702-929-8791 or nakedathleticfitness.com. Contact me today. Let's get you going. Nobody stops you but you.
Hey, welcome back to Girl Chat Sports. We are back, and we are with Kris Londyn. Hey, Kris.
Hi, ladies.
Hey, so Kris is a musician. She is a country gal. What was it? I think it's a southern girl with a little city swag. I loved that quote. So welcome to the show. First off, I guess just kind of give our listeners kind of maybe a little background to you, where you grew up, how I guess you got into music, that kind of stuff.
Okay, great. Yeah, I am an Army brat. I was born in Port Arthur, Texas. My family still lives in Texas. I have lived in Germany, Louisiana, Maryland, and now I live in LA.
Wow.
Yeah, I lived in Germany for like 6 years, so it's just been an amazing ride just through life in general.
So I'm guessing that now, how did you get into country music, I guess?
I've always loved country music. I love Shania Twain. She has been, I think, my biggest influence in country music because she's always so sassy, and I just love her performance. She can dress down and still do country music. I just love everything about Shania. I just want to go to Stagecoach for Shania.
Now, growing up, I know that we started off with you're a Cowboys and a Warriors fan currently. So you being from Texas, your family still being in Texas, is that where the Dallas Cowboy thing started, or was that embedded in you as a child with family, or how did that come about?
It's really weird because most of my family aren't Dallas Cowboys fans. But I had an uncle God rest his soul. My Uncle Nani, when I say die-hard Cowboys fan, I mean, like, he will argue tooth and nails, like, die-hard Cowboys fan. We'll get into a heated argument about the Cowboys. And just being from the country, you know, football is life. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where it comes from.
And everything's bigger in Texas, too. All those Texas boys.
Everything. Hair. Everything.
Awesome. So, we have news today that Tony Romo is going to get released tomorrow. So it's kind of been, in the making. We knew this was kind of happening after this last season. How do you feel about this last season? We'll let Steph talk about her thoughts on Dak and Tony and the new team. But how do you feel about the new Cowboys? And then how are you feeling about the whole Romo separation?
Honestly, I'm extremely excited about the new Cowboys. I think Dak is phenomenal. Like, honestly, just all around, he seems like an all-around good guy, and he's an amazing leader. Like, for him to be 23 and be able to lead like the vets is with Witten and Dez, like, he is the guy for the job, honestly. I was a diehard Romo fan, like, ups and downs. I'm like, it's okay, Romo, we'll work it out. We'll be fine. But, I mean, there's a new sheriff in town, and I can't go against the grain. I'm diehard Dak, so.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way. Definitely Tony was our leader for a very long time, and I totally wish him the best wherever he ends up.
Me too.
But, yeah, it's a good future for us.
Well, and you think about it, too, I think, is that, Tony, he's had his great games, he's had some bad games, but he couldn't just sit on the bench for another year or two behind Dak and just wait and just kind of hope that, he may be needed. He obviously wants to take his talent somewhere else. So that I think it's a good separation for them. Unfortunately, I know there will be a lot of old head kind of Cowboys fans that'll miss him. But even as hard as it is for me, which I hate the Cowboys.
Oh, my goodness. That's impossible.
I know, it is. It's possible because I'm a Seahawks fan. So, I was born and bred almost to hate the Cowboys. But as much as it pains me to say is that, Dak and Zeke and these new guys, I mean, and depending on how this draft goes, I mean, just watching the combines this weekend or this past weekend, it was just like there's so much talent that's going to be coming into the league this year. And if Jerry gets his hands on any of these pieces, I mean, he could really do some more damage this year and actually win more than one playoff game.
Hopefully. I agree. I am so, yes. And then I heard that we may get Deshaun Jackson. So if we get Deshaun Jackson, I think we're good to go. Of course, we need to work on the secondary, but yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that, I mean, obviously you've mentioned the secondary. Is there anything else that you see that the, Cowboys could be using right about now?
I think the main thing, honestly, is the secondary. Mm-hmm. Our O-line we're good to go with the O-line. As long as no one leaves us, we're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think, honestly, it's mainly the secondary.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we get eaten up on the field, is the secondary.
Let's switch it up to basketball. Are your Warriors going to take the championship this year?
Absolutely. When I'm a fan, I cannot go against my team, period.
Never, yeah.
So we're definitely taking the championship this year.
Even with Kevin Garnett. Okay, I'm showing my age again. With Kevin Durant, not being injured right now, we're not sure if he'll be back in time for playoffs for sure, what will happen, how he'll play if he is back for the playoffs. Like, how do you feel about that? I mean, now you've got Matt Barnes, which I'm not sure if that's quite the fill-in for KD.
Right. I mean, he's not quite the fill-in, but I think if we make some if we have to adjust without KD, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do it because with Clay and Steph, when they get hot, they're unstoppable.
Yeah. I mean, they are the Splash Brothers, They can't help that.
Exactly.
And Draymond Green definitely adds a lot to that team. I mean, the whole team itself, it's almost amazing to see that much talent on one team this time, especially in this day and age, it feels like there's always been like one or two superstars in a team. But now it's like you've got this team with they got a starting five, basically, of just
Yeah.
A-listers. So it's like when you see one of those really famous, like big movies coming out, you're like, wow, how did you get all these stars to be on
All
this
these
one
people on
movie? Well, as far as, and I know that we talked a little bit, I saw on your Instagram, which is at Miss Kris VII, that you had mentioned a little bit in regards, because Steve Kerr is the coach for the Warriors, and he used to play for the Chicago Bulls. And I was sitting here like, this Kris girl, she definitely, I mean, she looks young. I'm sure maybe she's an old soul, but I wasn't sure if you'd be, an actual old school Bulls fan, because I'm an old school Bulls fan. I grew up with Jordan. Jordan was my teammate. That was my go-to team.
Yes.
Yeah?
No, I am totally an old school Bulls fan, like Kukoc, Kerr, Pippen, Rodman. Yes, totally.
I love it.
Yes. Like, honestly, and that's the reason I had honestly stopped watching basketball for the longest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the Warriors, and they're the only ones who made me feel like I felt watching the Bulls.
Like it was dynamic again, right? I mean,
Yes,
even
exactly.
small time, like we had with Cartwright or with BJ Armstrong, like even like the smaller names, they still were on this exciting dynamic team. And I don't know, me and Steph had talked about it, and I had gave my opinion after All-Star Weekend as far as this dunk contest. The dunk contests back then were like amazing. You didn't have to have a prop. You didn't have to jump over somebody. You would do like crazy athletic moves. You'd be jumping in the air across, the free throw line, or you'd be doing reverse 360 dunks between your legs, like amazing things that now I think get distracted when they're jumping over cars and mascots and doing backflips or getting dropped by a drone, I guess. So I'm really happy to hear that there is another old school basketball fan out there. So that makes me happy.
Especially living in Laker and Clippers town.
Yeah, how's that?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm still just all Warriors, even though I'm really in the heart of Lakers and Clippers. But yeah, they still can't compare to the Warriors. It just is what it is.
Right. That's good. So, I mean, have you had a chance to get to any of the Lakers or Clippers games or any of the sports out there? So, I mean, how long have you been living in LA now?
I've been living in LA for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
But I still haven't gone to a Lakers-Clippers game. And I think it's just because, I don't know, maybe when they play the Warriors again this year, maybe for the playoffs, honestly, I'll probably just go to Oakland and go to a Warriors game.
There you go. Yeah. Get in there.
Yeah.
Plus, they'll have a new stadium next year. It's going to be beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's good. Well, beyond sports, though, before we let you go, we wanted to also talk about, so I know you've got an upcoming role that you'll be on. There's a new Netflix original series called Dear White People. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, it's based off of the movie Dear White People.
Okay.
I am playing Elizabeth, who is a big sister in a sorority house.
Okay.
And that's basically all I can say until it comes out.
Is your role?
It's an amazing show.
Okay. Is your role like a is it a reoccurring role for you then?
I'm only in 2 episodes, and actually I think it may be 1 episode.
Okay.
We just shot it on 3 different days, so
nice.
that confuses me sometimes. But yeah, I think it's only 1 episode, and maybe 2 episodes. But yeah, I think that was it for the sorority girls.
Well, that would be fun. And then, of course, you've got your music, and I know that you have a new single out called Miranda, so we want all of our listeners to check that out. So if you can tell us where we can find that, download it, listen to it, purchase it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. You can listen to it on SoundCloud all day, every day. You can buy it on iTunes, CD Baby. Or you can also listen to it. I was going to say watch. You can listen to it on my website, which is krislondyn.com.
Okay, wonderful. And is there any other social media-wise, is it all at the Miss Kris VII? Is that it?
Yes, it's Miss Kris VII, and I chose the VII for the Roman numeral 7.
7.
Because 7 is my favorite number, so yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, cool. Well, Kris, we really appreciate you joining us. We wish you the best success in your music. We can't wait to check out Dear White People when it gets released. I think it's the end of April or end of March. Yeah.
Same to you guys, though. You guys are so fabulous. I've listened to your other podcasts, and I just love to hear that other women love sports as much as I do.
Of course, we can't wait. Hopefully, we can get you back on again, maybe sometime after the show comes out, or after, we have a little more time, maybe closer to football season too.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Happy International Women's Day.
Yes. Happy International
Yay.
Women's Day. We appreciate you for joining us on this lovely, lovely day.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. And before we go, we just wanted to touch on a couple of things. Just a real quick shout out and a congratulations to Dirk Nowitzki. He hit 30,000 points last night versus the Lakers. But he becomes the 6th person to reach this milestone with the likes of Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Karl Malone, Wilt Chamberlain, and Kobe Bryant. I mean, you can't really beat that.
And he's the first international player to get there as well.
The first international player to get there as well. Historic. Man, that's historic. And I think he's still coming back for next season. He still plans to come back for his 20th season next year. So this is going to be interesting. He'll maybe be one of the top scorers ever. Who knows? He was on fire last night. I'm talking shooting 3-pointers out of his yin-yang. Anyway, let's shoot to an awe moment. I know you had a good one, Steph.
Yeah, so Jalen Windsor, he's a 13-year-old in LA. He's undergoing treatment for cancer that attacks his bones. The Children's Hospital of LA and Brita Cares Foundation prepared a really nice surprise for him when he came home from the hospital. They did a total Warriors remodel of his bedroom, highlighting his favorite player, Steph Curry. So there's a giant poster of his hero on the wall. The bedroom has a floor that looks like a hard court. And they put basketballs embedded in the walls and a hoops bedspread that even gave him a Warriors bench. So I thought that was very sweet.
Oh, that's really sweet. I love awe moments. I also have one too. We just couldn't decide on one. So there was an 11-year-old lifelong NHL fan for the Calgary Flames, Olivia Leddit. She's 11 years old. She lost her eyesight. She's technically legally blind at a young age due to a rare form of cancer. So on Sunday, she got to see her team thanks to this special pair of electronic sunglasses, probably something you saw at CES here in Las Vegas. She got to sit on the bench during warm-ups, watch the guys practice, and then she got to stand on the ice and stand on the ice for the national anthem. And she got to meet some of her favorite players and watch the game. Like, imagine not having been able to really see your entire life, and all of a sudden you get to watch.
It's a beautiful
As a
thing.
sports fan, that's amazing. So basically, she was listening to hockey her whole life. I mean, I couldn't imagine just only listening to football.
That's amazing.
Super amazing. So, a couple quick notes, only because I went to Arizona recently on Monday, and I love shoes, and I went to Last Chance, and I got a lot of great shoes. But no shoes will compare to these new sneakers that Pizza Hut is coming out with, where you can push a button on your sneaker and it will link you to an app where it can order a pizza to wherever you are.
Pizza ordering shoes.
Pizza ordering shoes. So I could be at a park, on a swing, in a tree house. Ooh, I could even be on a floaty at the pool.
And you just press your shoes and voila.
And voila, Pizza Hut is coming to you. Dang, I wish I would have thought something like that. But hey, I didn't, so no big deal. And last but not least, we will bring you the future arms of the NFL. Steph, I know you had a good one.
Did you feel at all like an old lady staring at these beautiful men in the combine with their future arms of the NFL?
Can I just tell you this, and I don't want this to sound sick and disgusting, but I have friends that were in town over the weekend too. One of them, his son's in a freshman in high school, but they're part of this major Adidas 7-on-7 football tournament, right? When I tell you these kids in high school are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", I'm not saying they were hot by no means. That's just wrong and disgusting. But had I been in high school when the guys were nobody in my high school was that tall or good looking, first of all. I'm sorry, Shorewood, class of 96, but it was not happening. These guys, I've never seen kids this age that tall, that athletic, that built. I was like, this is crazy.
What are they feeding them?
What are they feeding them? Anyways, I did not feel like an old lady. I was still staring at some of these guys at the combine, not the high school thing, at the combine. I just want to keep that and make sure that's understood. So, okay.
So you had to have seen UConn defensive back Obi Melanfalu's arms.
Ah, yes. They were nice. He also had a good time, too. 440 on the 40 yards, so that was pretty nice. And a 44-inch vertical. Anyway, my favorite, O.J. Howard, tight end from Alabama. All I can say is these guys from Alabama, because when I was at Senior Bowl last year, Alabama breeds some boys.
That's Southern cooking.
Man. And last but not least, my other personal favorite from Texas A&M, Myles Garrett. This guy, man, I tell you, the 33 reps. Woo-hoo, 33
That's how he
bench
got
press.
hit those arms.
Those arms, he's got a baby face, but he's got some arms on him. So anyways, you guys, thanks for checking us out. Please follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, on social media, at Facebook, at GirlChatSports. Find Steph
At S_wash.
And you can find me, Melissa, at Seattle4_life. Again, thanks so much, you guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks, okay? And we'll catch you guys then.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.